Roy. On a Saturday, I came down to the kitchen for breakfast. My mom and sister looked exhausted, and they asked me whether I had slept well. I replied that I had a good sleep, and then they asked me who is Roy. Mom told me I was screaming, "Roy, Roy, Roy," all night, and also said that Roy is a bad man. I didn't remember any of these things, and they were really surprised. After many years, my mother sent me a videotape while I was in my hostel. When I played the tape, I saw my mother taking video inside our house. Our house is now empty. She was moving towards a closet in her bedroom, and she goes inside it, and I can see purple drawing on the wall and random scribbles. And the camera zooms in towards a word on the wall. It says, Roy. My mom says in the video, Roy. I wonder who Roy is. You finally found out. My parents were living in a house which my mother didn't like. She said it was feeling sick in that house, but my father wasn't ready to accept her views. One night, my dad was on duty, and she was alone at home and felt terrible anxiety. She called a friend to stay the night. The next day, my father made fun of her for this. When my father went to work the next day, she placed a large pair of sharp sewing shears under her pillow. She felt embarrassed because, of course, it was all just her imagination. She went to bed and had a dream which was very intense. She couldn't distinguish dream from reality. She felt a tightening sensation and difficulty in breathing as something hard was against her throat. She wasn't able to move. After such a struggle, she opened her eyes to see that it was morning. She didn't wait for her husband to return from work. She packed the bags and moved in with her sister. She refused to go back to that house after that. Eventually, my dad gave up and called the landlord. He was astonished to hear the words of the landlord. I guess you finally found out. 5 years ago, a woman was found dead in that house. She had been strangled. Bad juju. My friend has a tree house on a large island. I lived in that house, and I just loved being there doing pretty little things like involving an entire six-pack of PBR, nudity, a pellet gun, and some gray slick on vinyl. After a long day of work, I came to that house and went to bed. But I woke up just after a few minutes and saw the whole treehouse glowing red, and I wasn't able to move. It continued for some time, and gradually the red light, the vibration in my core, and the noise faded out, and then I was able to move once more. I was so terrified I couldn't go back to sleep. In the morning, I went to work. Kelly, one of my closest friends, asked why I look exhausted. When I shared my experience, she said that there is some really creepy juju on this island. Her grandfather had such a ghostly experience as well. There are some weird creatures, and my son used to talk to them. He calls them the green men, and they come all the time.